Logan, question number one. The audience would love, Logan testing actually, would love to hear about your mindset working together with your spouse.
Yeah. Katie, I think this is actually a great opportunity because, okay, so this is really good because people, I am the face of our business, of our company, but Katie's actually the one who runs everything in all fairness. And it's really fun for Katie, for you to be on here and be able to talk, because like when you start speaking, it's just like, oh my God, like you're more attractive when you start speaking, right? And that, and I don't mean that in like I'm attracted to you in a sexual, which I am, but not, hopefully you guys aren't, but you guys are attracted to her in the standpoint that, you know, she has value and she serves in a way that is authentic because she's actually done it. She actually has had the conversation. She actually has done the do. She's not just sitting on the sidelines like behind me or even beside me, like she's in front of me. I'm just actually a little bit taller than her, and I'm the one who's speaking to everybody. So as far as marriage dynamic, I think it's important to understand how our relationship started. And it started in 2014 is when we actually got together, and I had just started my gym business. I was probably 3 months in my gym business. I was a fledgling entrepreneur, and I thought I ruled the world. I was free. I didn't have a boss. And Katie met me, and she thought I was a cool kid who just started his own gym. I was 25 years old. And yeah, we kind of had that rebel vibe. She had a job working as a office manager at a dentist office where she collected money, like a dentist office. Katie, like, you don't have to give exact numbers, but were they collecting like a couple $100,000 a month, right?
Yeah.
And so that was her job, was to go collect money from all these people who had teeth issues, right? And so she was, and you were doing that for how long, Katie?
About 6.5 years.
Yeah, about 6.5 years. And so that was 2014. So Katie basically watched me for 2.5 years, like beat my head against the wall, struggle, get up early, stay at the gym late, and try to figure out this entrepreneurship game. Because when I came into the gym business, I had one skill, and that was the fulfillment of training. Like I knew how to train people. I knew nothing about marketing. I knew nothing about sales. I knew nothing about building a team. I didn't realize I could actually hire people until probably like a year or two in. I was like, I can actually hire somebody. This is kind of neat. This is kind of different. And so Katie watched me struggle, make no money. And it wasn't until about 2.5 years later, 2017, where I actually caught some momentum. I hired a coach, found out how to market and sell, combine that with my ability to fulfill. And then my business went from doing $5,000 a month to $50,000 a month. And it was like, okay, it's a whole new world. And so Katie kind of watched this happen from the sidelines. And then she's like, okay, like maybe there's something here. And then later that year, I asked her both to marry me, but first asked her if she would leave her job to join my business. And her condition was that you must marry me if I'm going to leave my job to join your business. And I said, sold. So, so that's kind of how our whole journey started. And since 2017, Katie has been full-time entrepreneur. And, you know, we have 2 kids. And so there was like a brief period in there where where you didn't work when you were like probably like 8 months pregnant, all the way to probably like 6 months after postpartum. I don't know. You would probably know that better than I would.
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Outside of that, Katie's been in business the entire time. So again, like that just sets the frame for this, kind of where we came from. So we've been on both sides, and we've been on what I call the quarterback cheerleader relationship, where I'm on the field, I'm in the game, Katie's on the sideline, she's cheering. At the end of the game, we connect and we talk, right? Which is a great relationship to have. Now we are in a quarterback fullback relationship where we're both in the field and we're running plays together. And at the end of the day, you know, we're in the quote unquote showers having our conversations, right? So yeah, so as far as running a marriage and running a business, Katie, I think you can kind of set the frame now, or now that the frame is set, kind of share some wisdom from your point of view.
I think the most important thing is to understand where you're going. First and foremost is you can go anywhere on any road at any time. So having a shared vision and a shared goal is extremely important. Whether you are in a cheerleader quarterback relationship or whether you are in a fullback quarterback relationship, having that shared vision gives you something to work toward together. That's the most important thing. The second thing that I would say is,
so Katie, let me go back on that. So when you say shared vision, like what exactly do you mean? Like if you were to be really specific, like what does that mean?
yeah, so we have a shared vision right now of owning and operating a $2 million cleaning company.
Yeah.
That is an example of a shared vision. We also have a shared vision of growing empowered children who can think for themselves, who are self-sufficient, who don't run to us to save them. So we let them have mistakes. Once you know where you're going, then you need to define roles.
Yeah.
And then stay in your lane is probably the third most important thing. Is Logan is very much the face, the visionary. He's like got these brilliant, grandiose ideas. Some of them are phenomenal. Some of them are absolutely atrocious and we would never actually act on. But I'm always his sounding board to make sure that he has somewhere to actually let these visions speak to. And then some of them were, I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, but instantly I go into what my lane is operations. So I'm like, how the heck would we implement any of that? And sometimes that alters his decision, or he's like, no, don't go down that rabbit hole yet. Like, let me just share my vision. So just knowing what role you're in allows you guys to be able to work together in the shared direction that you're headed.
I think that's like super important, is to get clear on what those goals are. It could be like through a business, it could be through a family. Like, you know, we will share ours just to simply give you a framework from where you can like build your dreams off of, but like don't choose our goals. Like that's not gonna help you. That's why I'm like really conscious of also like sharing specifics, because I don't want you to like take my goal and be like, okay, I'm gonna do Logan's goal or Katie's goal, but like use those as a framework that you can build your goal around. And
Yeah.
the reason why it's important to have that vision, that clarity, and also to have like actually like a big goal, something that you're actually moving towards, something that's going to take years, maybe decades, is because like how long do you plan on being married for? How long do you plan on living for?
To
And
add on
so
to that, I think it's also really important to have individual goals. So there's shared goals, but there's also individual goals that you guys are working towards together. So you know that your spouse's goal is to squat 200 pounds. When they are saying that they don't want to go to the gym, are you going to let them not go to the gym, or are you going to encourage them and push them out the door and say, we have goals that you need to hit? So it doesn't always have to be like working together necessarily. There's individual goals as well, but they need to be shared with each other and encouraging and empowering and actually like having a standard of nothing less than what we're working towards.
yeah. And really pushing another person to share their goals and be vulnerable, because here's the double-edged sort of goals, right? Is that once you say you have a goal, then all of a sudden what happens? Shit. Accountability. Now I got to do something. Now I got to make a change. Now I have to do something different, because obviously I don't have that. I haven't achieved that thing. So I must do something different in order to achieve it. So that's why most people don't set goals, because when things are fuzzy, you don't have to really work that hard. But also when you have something super crystal clear and there's a clear path to do it, there becomes a clear action steps to do it. And you're like, okay, then it becomes work. And is work fun? Yes, it is, right? It's your choice. It's your choice to view it and perceive it as not fun. But ultimately, everything we do is ultimately up to you to decide, to judge it, whether it is fun or not. So, and
I have
here's
one thing else to add to this. So being each other's biggest advocate is something that it's like a double-edged sword. So you can point your finger and you can be like, you're not getting to your goals, but understanding that you guys are both on the same team is always the most important thing at the end of the day. And having standards. Like it's really easy to get in a fight over somebody not pulling their weight and somebody pulling too much weight. But at the end of the day, like rather than saying, why the hell are you not pulling your weight? Like get curious, like what is going on in your life? Like it seems like you're kind of dropping the ball here. How can I help you? That approach is so much more. We've learned this the hard way, because we used to be very finger pointing, blaming victims. I personally didn't want to take accountability for anything. I was like, you put this on me. This is your vision. And once we got the curiosity in set, like it was game changing. And then we're always on the same team. We always have been on the same team, but sometimes the perspective of being on the same team has not always been at the forefront of the conversation.
And I think there's like another level to that too, is that Like when you don't have goals, when you don't have a vision, especially when it's aligned, then all of a sudden what happens is you guys end up fighting with each other. This is, again, something that we've experienced, is that we end up like looking at each other's faults because we have no idea where we're going. Like we have no vision. And we, as much as like we've been together for almost 10 years. And so when we look back at different seasons in our lives and look at like when we were the most connected is when we actually were working towards a shared vision, a shared goal. And when we fought the most, when we argued the most, when we nitpicked the most, when we looked at each other's faults, is when we were not going towards anything. We were being comfortable. We were just chilling, right? And so it made it really easy to look around and like I could see all the problems that Katie had because you know what, I wasn't working towards something. And so one of the most powerful things you can do is have big goals, right? And having shared with the people who are important in your life. So it could be your spouse, it could also be with your team, it could be with your friends and family members. But the more that you have a vision, that you bring people with you, the less you get distracted by the things that actually don't really matter. So.
Love it. You ready for question number 2?
We're only on question. It's almost 2:30, 4:30 Eastern time, 1:30 Pacific time. Nobody cares about Central time. We're only on question number 1. All right.
All right. Question number 2, Amy Carter, do you have solo cleaners or run teams? Amy Carter, you need to get in the masterclass. We talk about this a lot. We run solo teams, solo cleaners, solo teams.
Yeah. And for anybody in here who is a clean business owner, like you guys can drop in the chat what you guys do. Again, solo cleaners versus team. We actually, and so as much as we run a solo cleaning model, do we do team cleans, Kitty?
Yes.
Yeah. So there's always, it's never a this or that, right? It's just how much solo cleaning do we do? How much team cleaning do we do? And we start to approach business that way. It's not like black or white. It's not we do this, we do this. It's just how much of it do we do? You get out of this box that you put yourself in, and like, I can only do solo cleans, I can only do cheap cleans. And you start to look at things from a logical point of view. So you realize that you can do both.
Love it. Okay. In one, you can share one secret. Brian Rice says, tell me the secret to get to $100,000 per month. One secret.
It's great. I'm gonna quote one of my favorite people of all time, and it's Faith Hill. Is that the secret to life is there's no secret at all, right?
I love it.
I mean, all the secrets are in the masterclass, and it's just systems, it's just consistency, it's literally doing the boring work over and over again. And for any of you guys who are familiar with me, who have followed me, you know that I would say like I grew up with Alex, right? He was one of my first mentors. And so like doing the boring work is something that, it's not something that I just like preach, it's something that I do and I believe. And like, so I guess the secret is consistency. Maybe that's the secret, that is like, it's the secret that's right in front of you. Just how do I continue to do the same thing for a long enough period of time in order for me to make $100,000 a month? Like, I would ask that question. I'll bring it back. It's like, if you were doing $99,000 last month, like, do you believe you could do 100,000?
For sure.
If you did $95,000 a month before, do you think the next month you could do 100,000?
Yeah.
And so the way that I look at any sort of goal is like, is it realistic? Is it achievable? And has somebody else done $100,000? Okay. How did they do it? And then I try to turn as many things into math as I possibly can, because as emotional human beings, we're like this up and down, up and down, up and down. And I'm the biggest culprit of that. I'm one of the most emotional human beings on the planet. And so I'm able to stabilize myself with data. And so as long as the data can prove that it's possible, then at that point it becomes a math problem. And so then I turn it into math, and just like, okay, so in order for us to make $100,000 a month, we have to have 440 job tickets every single week. We got to do 115 cleans. We got to have 20 cleaners, and they all have to produce $55 an hour. And if we do those numbers, we'll hit $100,000 a month. And so I did that math when we were doing $35,000 a month. I just worked it back, and we're consistent with it every single week.
Yeah, good consistency.
Yeah.
All right, question. I don't know what number we're on, but next question is marketing. So Logan, I'll leave this one for you. What have you had the most success in as far as marketing? Facebook, Google Guarantee, AdWords?
Yeah. So Is this by another Logan is testing, or is this by?
No, this is Eli's iPhone.
Oh, all right. Eli, are you specifically a cleaning business owner? You can just.
I am, yeah.
Okay, amazing. Yeah, so they all work together. As far as like what's most successful, again, I'll tell you our story, and then you can use that as a way to make a decision based on your current circumstance. But we came into the cleaning business having already done Facebook ads for the previous 7 years, and before we even started the cleaning business, we had spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on Facebook advertising, and so that was our main source of lead gen, and we did that probably for a year and a half without doing anything else. That was the only thing, because Google LSA wasn't a thing, and Google pay-per-click wasn't something that we used a ton of when we had our fitness business. But throughout now, we use a lot of Google LSA. We have a lot of Google pay-per-click as well, and we still use Facebook. And so from an ad spend standpoint, I think we, like last week, for example, we spent $500 on Facebook. We spent like $450 on Google pay-per-click, and we spent $150 or $200 on Google LSA. So that kind of gives you a breakdown of kind of how much money we spend on advertising. And as far as like how many leads are coming in, we definitely in the moment we get a lot more leads from our Google LSA and Google pay-per-click for sure. But the Facebook marketing, to me, actually, it like because people see it all the time, it doesn't, like, people don't necessarily come in and they don't opt in per se, but then they it's the first time that they become familiar with our business, and they see it over and over again, and then all of a sudden they go to search for a cleaning business, and then they see us at the top because we're on Google LSA, then they call us. I've seen that happen more than anything. Another example is I was on a phone call. I'm trying to work like a partnership with a property management company right now. This is something for all the cleaning business owners out there. I'm trying to like create a system behind doing property management or working with property managers on getting cleans. And so I was chatting with her today, and she's like, you know what? It's so funny that you sent me an email, because I've been seeing all your ads on Facebook. I've been seeing them all over the place. And all of a sudden you emailed me. I'm just like, must be a sign. I was like, that ain't a sign, girl. That's $500 a week. And so again, like, that's why it's important to track all of your marketing together rather than just one, because your ROI might not come in on Facebook. You might get it around on Google, right? So hopefully that gives you some sort of context. And the other piece I'll add to that too is the number I truly look at when it comes to marketing is lifetime value of a customer. So when I know that number, I'm less concerned about how much we'll make on day 1 or day 30, because we're not currently in a cash crunch. So this is where context is important. Like, if you're in a cash crunch, your strategy needs to change. Like, you need to make sure you're profitable from day 1, right? Or day 14, like however much money you have, you need to make sure that you're profitable, and you can be profitable. Like, we've never, like, every single month that we've had this business, we have made a profit. We have never lost money, 0 times. I don't know if you guys can see that. Like, that's how many times that we have not made money. Like, the reason why I truly like the cleaning business is because you can make money on day 1. Does it take work? Does it take effort? Yes, but it can be done. And so if you can be profitable from day 1, and your investment to start a cleaning business is, let's just say at most, it's $5,000 at most. Katie, how much did we start our cleaning business for?
Yeah, it was less than 1,000.
Yeah. And then if you add marketing in there as well, let's just say you, like, because you need marketing, you need customers, let's say it's $1,500. So let's just say it costs $2,500 to start a cleaning business, and you have the opportunity to have a $100,000 a month company and staying in the green, staying positive the whole time. Does that make sense? To me, it does, right? And so understanding your lifetime value of your customer is really important, because if you know what that number is, then it's okay to spend money, because you know that if your customers stay with you for an average and they spend an average of $1,000, then, and if it costs you $50, $100, $200 to acquire a customer, is that a fair trade? If you spend $200 and that person's eventually over the course of their lifetime going to pay you $1,000, like, does it make sense?
Sure.
So all goes back to math.
Cool. Mel Palmer, We kind of
What
already
up,
answered
Mel?
this, but I'm gonna put it
Mel's
back on here.
Mel's a stud.
Mel is a stud. Appreciate you, Mel. She loved the marriage note about the best business partner being your partner. Could you talk about that and how you see that coming into play if your partner has a W-2? So for that season, cheerleader quarterback relationship.
Yeah. I think it's worth just maybe touching a little bit deeper on that and just saying like the actual relationship is less important than the shared vision. Like everybody is needed in order to win the game, right? So anyone who's heard me talk, like I love using sports analogies. And so what we use, the analogy we use in our company is a football analogy of playoffs, conference championships, Super Bowl, and Hall of Fame. And so we have different goals along the way. And so as long as everyone knows what the goal is, everybody's important, right? Everyone has their role. And so it's just understanding like, what is that person's role? So if the husband in this case is not part of your business, no, then their role is cheerleader. And it's important for you to set that expectation with them that that is their role. And this is what you need from them. I need you to be supportive. I need you to do XYZ because I know that in order for me to be successful, like I need this from you, right? Can that role evolve? Can somebody who's a cheerleader eventually turn into a fullback? Yeah. Does it need to? Absolutely not, right? So, but what's most important, just having a shared vision, knowing each other's roles. Like business is the most fun game for me because like it forces growth. It forces us to do things that we normally otherwise wouldn't do. But the skills, if left only to business, like you're severely missing out on what it could do for a marriage, what it could do for you as a parent, what it could do for you as a son or a daughter of your parents and or a cousin. Like the things you could do with the skills you learn from business, like you should learn how to transfer those skills into other areas of your life to get even a bigger ROI on them.
Great. Kind of rolls us into the next question. Logan, what is the biggest problem that you had to overcome working together as a married couple with kids?
You want to go first on this one, Kenny?
Sure. Yeah. I think my biggest problem was communication and thinking that Logan knew what I was thinking in my mind and assuming that he knew or that I have told him before or that I've told him once, so he should remember it. I think, the saying like assuming makes an ass out of you and me. It has been proven in our relationship that if you like, same thing with the kids, communicate it once, they hear it. Yeah, whatever. Communicate it twice, they hear it. Yeah, whatever. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, maybe the person actually understands it. And the better that you get at repeating it, the better you articulate it. So you actually come across more clear so the person can actually understand it. Like if I don't get the reaction that I want out of Logan, I'm like, okay, what could I change and how I communicated that? And how can I be better equipped to get the outcome that I'm actually looking for? So I think communication is probably, that is the biggest problem that I've had to overcome within our marriage, having kids.
I think mine is in the same vein, and it comes from like my inability to communicate my problems to Katie. And so instead of me being able to communicate, I act like a 3-year-old and I throw a temper tantrum. And I just like block myself off. I get mad. I give the cold shoulder because I do not know how to communicate my problem. And I take it out on them. But whose problem is it really? Is what I've come to realize is that it's my problem. And so our relationship got better when I started focusing on more about fixing myself rather than me trying to fix Katie. And that has been a game changer in our relationship, is that any moment that we try to like talked about how we need like how like what the other person needs to do. It's like, no. Turn that finger back around. Focus on what you can control, which is what you need to do. So I think it's a high level of responsibility, right? And we've seen this in our kids as well, is that anytime that they start to have problems, it's because they're not taking responsibility. And there's this like really fun window with kids where like when they're babies, like they absolutely need you. Like they truly need you to survive. Like you're literally on the teat, right? And then there's this transition point where they can start doing things. They can walk, they can talk, they can eat without a bottle. And this is where it took a minute for Katie and I to get on the same page. But like our shared belief now is to have the kids be as self-sufficient as possible, as early as possible. So they need us not, but they want us a lot. And so it comes from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. And a lot of that is the same thing in our relationship as well. It's like Katie and I do not need each other. Like she can run a $1 million business on her own. She has a multi-million dollar real estate portfolio that she can run. She don't need me. Do I make her life easier? Hell yeah. Do I need her? Absolutely not. But do I want her?
Yeah.
And so I think that is easier, far easier said than actually done, because a lot of our relationship that it was built on was not built on that, right? It was built on a codependency. It was built on a level of like, I need you, you need me. And we have since transitioned that into interdependency, which means that we're both self-sufficient, but we do rely on each other, but we rely on each other because we want to, not because we have to. So
Yeah, one of the things that we just recently discovered, or I personally recently discovered, was that Logan is an internal processor and I am an external processor.
This is good.
So this completely changed our relationship within the last 2 months. Logan likes to think about everything prior to actually saying it out loud. I like to think about nothing prior to saying it out loud. The first time that I want to think about it is when I'm saying it. So oftentimes Logan's like, why are you word vomiting on me? Like, I don't want to hear your problems. And I was like, I was just sharing them with you. Like, I didn't realize I was like throwing my whole life on you. And then, he is in the same situation, non-responsive sometimes because he's thinking through everything. And I'm frustrated because I'm like, why are you not talking to me? Why are you not responding? And he's internally processing it and I'm word vomiting on him. So now that we know each other's like processing manners, we can respect them. And it's okay if he doesn't respond now, because I understand that he has to think about it before he can respond.
Yeah.
And then if I have problems and I present them, he understands that I'm not word vomiting on him. That's just how I process it. I'm not looking for an answer. I'm just sharing my issues with you. That was good. Jacob
really,
Shannon.
It's really good. Hold on. That's really good. It's like that right there, like internal versus external processing. I think that'll help a ton of people. And I think like there's the what is it? There's like there's a framework behind that. It's like the reason why we get frustrated is because we don't understand. And so again, like anytime that you're frustrated, just understand that it's because you are ignorant. You are ignorant, not the other person. The other person isn't stupid. They ain't dumb. You are. You just don't understand. You don't understand. When you understand, you get less frustrated. It becomes more accepting, right? So I think that's the underlying value or framework to that specific thing. But the internal external processing, total game changer.
Cool. All right, Jacob, I'm going to answer this one.
Jacob's a stud, by the way. We went to Rodizio's one time and we ate all the food. If you guys know what Rodizio's is, it's a Brazilian steakhouse, and they just keep on bring the meats over and they just slice them up, and then you just say, you eventually got to say no, but for a long time you say yes, and then you just got to say, please go away. Like, I am way too full. And Jacob,
Jessica's currently laughing.
Yeah. They got to experience that as well. So Jacob and I got to experience that one time together.
It's awesome. All right, Jacob, how do you navigate dealing with performance of employees that are going through issues in their personal life that is impacting their work performance? So one of our core values is responsibility. So I always turn it back on them. I'm obviously very supportive. We have a great example. We have a sober employee who relapsed on the 4th of July. And she didn't show up to work yesterday. And she's like, I'm spiraling. I need to talk to my therapist. I have roommate drama. I'm going to be living in my car. And all I asked was like, what are you going to do today to better your situation? What's one thing you're going to do today to better your situation? And then later in the day, I asked her what one thing she did that made her proud today. So it's a lot about being there, holding them accountable to their own actions. Like, am I proud of her that she relapsed? Absolutely not. But at the same time, if she can own it, if she can take responsibility for it, and if she can learn something from it, she will continue to be employed by us. Yeah, she called out and messed up the day one time, but in the 4 months that she's been with us, she's worked 40 plus hours every single week and never called out. So how do I empower her to realize that the decisions that she was making prior to July 4th were better than the decision that she made on July 4th? And then it's just constant following up. Like, you got this, girl, but tell me how you got this. And defining it. Logan, you have anything to add?
No, I think the only thing that I'll touch on is just like, don't rob them of the responsibility of the situation. Like, don't try to like baby them and try to take it and try to solve the problem. Like, you don't help.
Same thing with your kids.
Same thing with your kids. Like, empower them, encourage them, let them know like, okay, cool. Like, was that the outcome you were looking for? Was relapse? Okay, cool. Well, what's one thing you can do today to get back on track? And if she gets back on track or not, is it Katie's responsibility? Right? Like, it's not up to Katie whether she does or doesn't. Like, if this gal gets back on track, she does her thing, it's because she did it. You know, Katie was there to support her and encourage her, but it wasn't Katie who did it, and vice versa. If the girl doesn't get back on track and she goes in the rabbit hole and she quits and she does whatever, like she leaves our company, was that Katie's fault? Right? And I think that's where the understanding that like people are people, and the expectation of like just like people are going to do what people do. And so instead of getting frustrated at people like, I can't believe that they called out. I can't believe that she would relapse. I can't believe she would do drugs. I can't believe that she wouldn't show up to work on time. It's like, I expect people to show up. I expect people to do what people do, is they just do what's in their best interest. And I'm okay with it.
And that's why we never turn the hiring funnel off. Ever.
Second lesson. Never turn the hiring funnel off.
All right, Logan is testing has another question.
Logan is testing.
He's got good questions.
These are great
Good.
questions.
How involved are you with your short-term rental business? Are you focused on Bozeman 5-star cleaning more than that business? Just curious about the challenges and rewards of running them simultaneously. Do you feel they both have paralleled success?
Yeah. So I love this. What you guys don't know is that Katie does both. She runs the short-term rental business, long-term rental business, and she does the cleaning business. And we don't talk about it much anymore, but our short-term rental business and our real estate business, it almost does, like, I think it did $70,000 or $80,000 last month as well. So, and Katie runs it. Katie's a stud. I mean, if you guys did not know, now you know. However, with that being said, there is only so much attention that somebody has. And so I see that Katie is so, like, she is so good that if she had more attention on our cleaning business, it would continue to grow and would be like way bigger than it already is right now. And so we've made steps to help her get her attention back by, we just hired property managers for our long-term rentals. So we actually no longer manage any of our long-term rentals. And we've explored doing short-term rentals. we currently have a virtual assistant who does all the communication with like the guests and with the, I guess, Katie, I guess now this is where you can kind of take over what the VA actually does.
Yeah, everything except for anything that escalates to a real in-person problem. We have a virtual assistant who facilitates all of the messaging unless there's a lockout issue, which is very rare. If there's like a plumbing issue or something like that, he escalates it to me, currently trying to put another person in that seat. So I don't have to be that person, but he's phenomenal. We had an American do it and be both the boots on the ground and the messaging portion of it. And turns out the VA is 10 times better than my American was.
Yeah.
And Johnny on the spot all the time. Honestly, I don't know when he sleeps.
James on the spot.
James is, I don't think he ever sleeps because he will respond within minutes to anybody who's inquiring about anything. And he's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was the question? I don't know if we answered the question.
Paralleled success.
What was the question?
Rewards and challenges of running both simultaneously.
Yeah. Attention, 100%.
Yeah.
And so again, different seasons require different levels of attention. And where we see that we're able to take the cleaning business is that we're just gonna need more attention. And so we're giving attention away, which means that we're giving away some profits. But to us, it makes more sense for where we believe that we can take our current business right now. For sure.
Yeah. I would definitely not recommend running 2 at a time.
Yeah. Not forever, but
not forever.
The experience you get, like the things that we've learned from running Airbnbs, how they transferred over to the cleaning business and vice versa. So again, depends on what level you're at in your journey. Ultimately, like just doing more is always better. Like volume is always the answer. More calls, more businesses, more money made, more money lost, more conversations, always begets more success.
Yep. All right, Autumn, I see you.
So one thing before you answer, or we ask Autumn's question, if you, so James is a virtual assistant, if you guys didn't pick that up. And how much do you pay him to run the Airbnb, Katie?
$100 a week.
$100 a week. And how much were we paying our American girl?
I'm like embarrassed to say, but $640 a week.
And James does better or worse?
Better.
By a long shot.
Oh yeah, not even close.
So we have, let's just say 2 times the output, and we're paying a 1/6 of the input. Seems like a good trade-off, right? So a couple of weeks ago, I did a free training on how to hire VAs, where to find them, all that stuff. I don't know if Jessica and Lucas are on here, but they're very gracious to actually go through the process, and everyone got to watch them hire VA. She just posted inside the Facebook group, the one that I posted here earlier, the $1 million cleaning business Facebook group, that they hired her. She's doing great. She's on the team. And so all literally within a couple of days, you can have a virtual assistant for less than $100 a week. And so even if you have nothing, even if you're not in the cleaning business, but you just want a virtual assistant, you want to buy back 40 hours of your time for less than $100, like go get the masterclass just for that. Like just that alone is so good. It's so good.
Yeah, it is not through a VA company either. We hire them directly.
No. Yeah. And again, you can shortcut the process. You can go through a VA company. You will just pay more. Like you will not get a VA for $100 a week if you do it that way. So yeah, like depends on what you're going for. Like if you just want speed, like you can go to a VA company and they will bring them on somewhat vetted. I say somewhat because ultimately, like you still have to ingrain them into your culture. And I'm telling you, for an hour at most is what it would take you to go through the training and start to implement. Like you would understand how to do it yourself, and you would save yourself a ton of money. And most importantly, you would know the process, which is most important. Like, even if you decide not to do it, like at least you know what the process is. So then you can come from a place of sound judgment of like, okay, I'm willing to actually just go to a VA company. Like either way, it's just important to at least understand both sides of it.
Cool. All right. Can we move on?
Oh my gosh, did you see Sam Singh is in here?
Oh yeah, he's been blowing up the chat.
Has he? Oh my gosh, I can't say that. I don't know why my chat's not working, but dude, Sam
Sam
Singh.
Singh.
If you guys are not friends with Sam Singh, you guys are like freaking missing out. Sam is one of the he's one of the humans that you want to be around because he makes you feel good. Have you ever been around that person who just like thinks you're amazing and just like always puts you on a pedestal and just like always like he'll stop what he's doing just to look at you, and then he'll compliment you, and then he'll like put his hand on your shoulder. Like he's just one of those humans that his presence of being present with you, it's what I'm looking for. It's so valuable. It's like a true connection. So if you're not connected with Sam Singh, if you're in the sub 2 community, I know there's a couple people here in the sub 2 community, like go connect with him. If you just want somebody to talk to, like that guy will get on a phone call with you and he will talk. He will talk with you for hours. Like good person to connect with. Sam Singh. We also do a podcast together, which is fun. So thank you, Sam. I didn't know you were on here.
They've had some huge names on their podcast too, just for the record, because Sam gets in rooms that because he's present. His presence is just like, it's radiant. It's amazing. Yeah. And then people are like, wow, Sam, I'm attracted to you. I like you.
Yeah.
Their podcast is amazing. All right, Autumn, I'm going to get to your question now. Thank you for waiting.
Yeah. Autumn's a superstar. She's always commenting. She's active inside the Facebook group. So thank you, Autumn.
It's awesome. She says, should I wait until most people on my team are full-time to switch to empowerment pay, or can I start them while they're part-time? The goal is obviously to grow everybody to full-time. Can I answer this one first? And then you can chime in.
I have zero input on this one, Katie, to be honest with you. I have no idea.
I would absolutely not switch to empowerment pay if it is not to the cleaner's advantage. So run a couple calculations, what it would look like at their current hourly rate versus what their current empowerment pay would look like on a week-to-week basis. And if it's less than what they're currently making, don't make the switch. You want it to be a win for the cleaners, not reverse. That makes sense? Cool. Tamara's not on here, but she asked me a question earlier today. Actually, maybe she has a Logan is testing, I don't know. But she asked me a great question earlier today about payroll and how to run the week. So we run the week of payroll Monday through Sunday, and then we pay the following Friday. So it gives us 5 days to actually, or I guess 4 days to process payroll. That's one thing that we learned the hard way. I would only give myself 2 days. And if there was a holiday, I only ever had 1 day to process payroll, and it's stressful. So give yourself as much time to process payroll as possible. Just a side note when you switch to empowerment pay. Good question, Autumn. All right. Do you recommend a cleaning business to someone who has no experience running their own business? I have always worked for someone, but at the leadership level. Will the masterclass teach me how to even get started? Mel, appreciate you for blowing this up, but Sherry, yes. Definitely would recommend a cleaning business to you with no experience. The masterclass will walk you through step-by-step how to get started. And being in the leadership level, working for somebody else sets you up for success. That is probably one of the reasons why I think Logan and I worked so well together. When I decided to jump ship from an employee world to the entrepreneur world with him, was because I was already in that leadership position. So I already had some skills that translated over in the leadership department and in, managing and in crisis management, that better suited me to be able to handle those situations in the cleaning business. Logan, any other input?
I finally figured out how to get into the chat. So I'm like just liking people, stuff in here. Thank you guys for being active. And I'm not listening. No, sorry.
Okay.
I see people in here. I'm like, oh, I love these names. There's so many awesome people who are in here. Matt helped me set up our Airbnb in Arizona. So big shout out to Matt for being on here. He's in the junk removal business and using some of the masterclass to implement his business. Like what it's about, guys. Again, it's taking business and applying it to business. Like, the only reason that we've been able to build a cleaning business from zero to $100,000 in 2.5 years is not because we knew anything about cleaning. We had zero experience in the cleaning industry. It's because we had 7 years in a different business that was very similar to the cleaning business. The only thing that was different is that we switched out selling weight loss for selling a cleaning service. And we made a lot of mistakes in our fitness business that we realized that when we came into this business that we didn't make, and it's the reason that we've had steady momentum. There's still ups and downs. They're just not as big of downs anymore because we've solved many of those problems in other businesses before. And so, yeah, it's just awesome to see that this stuff works regardless of if you're in a cleaning business, if you're in a power washing business, if you're in a window cleaning business, if you're in a junk removal business, again, local service business, a fitness business. Principles always work.
All right, I got a good question for you, Logan.
Okay, I'll pay attention now.
Why not just stick with real estate?
Phenomenal. So I was just at the gym right before this call, and someone came up to me and was like, "Hey, like, are you Logan?" I was like, "Yeah, it's interesting, right?" So I'm in Bozeman right now. So if you guys know, Bozeman's a small town. There's like 50,000 people in here. So like to have somebody walk up to me and say, "Are you Logan?" is interesting to me, right? Unless they're just like old friends. I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "We met at Clever Summit in April 2022. I was like, "Oh, interesting," right? I started chatting, and he's like, "So what do you like? Are you still doing real estate? What do you got going on?" And I was like, "You know what? In 2022 is when we joined. We actually joined Sub 2 in 2021, and we joined Sub 2, the real estate community, because at that time we're like, let's turn real estate into our main thing, right? Into the thing." And so prior to that, we had our fitness business, and real estate was simply an investment vehicle. So our fitness business, it made money. We had money sitting in the bank. We took that money and we invested it into traditional real estate where we got loans. We put 20% down and we cash flowed a couple $100 every single month. And it was basically instead of putting money in the stock market, we put it into real estate. Okay. So that's how we did real estate for, I think we bought our first house in like 2017. First investment property was until 2019. And so probably about 2.5, 3 years, that's the way that we played the game. And then when we learned about pace, like pace obviously is amazing. Pace is a stud. The reason why we moved to Arizona is to be closer to Pace. Like our house is 4 minutes away from Pace's house. Being around that human, it's electric. It's electric being around that guy. Man, love that human so much. Anyone who enters inside Sub 2, like they know, like that guy is on a different level. And we've been very fortunate to be able to being in proximity to him. And yeah, so like I was buying the vision, man. I'm all in real estate. Let's make this to an active thing. And 2022, we bought $4-ish million or $4 or $5 million of real estate, and we did it all through creative finance, right? And it was a lot of work. It was very active. It was a lot of negotiating. It was a lot of putting money together, putting deals together, like trying to like make all this thing work. And it took a lot of attention. And it was, again, probably about halfway through the year of 2022 that I realized that I didn't want to play that game. Like the way that I viewed real estate was as an investment vehicle, not as an active game. I don't know if it was just a personality thing, but I found more value in a reoccurring business model like cleaning rather than like a wholesaling model where I work hard and I get a $20,000-$30,000 assignment fee, and then I got to work, and then I start back over at square one again. So I don't necessarily like that. And then from a standpoint of trying to get enough rentals to be able to create the cash flow, like it just didn't like the amount of time we spent for the amount of cash flow we got just didn't make sense for I could just like put more energy on my cleaning business. I could make an extra $10,000, $15,000 in a month. Like that just wasn't, I didn't have the skill set to make that realistic in the game of real estate. And we didn't do flipping, which is a way that you can earn a lot of money, and we didn't have a skill sets in that, so that wasn't a path that we wanted to go down. And so after all that being said, after last year, we realized that real estate needs to be our investment game, not our primary game. And so we're actually actively trying to get out of a lot of, not a lot, but some of the deals we got into last year, and we're just like giving away our equity because we realize that it's the attention that it has taken from what we could do in our cleaning business is not worth it to us. And so again, different season, and we just have realized that we like real estate as an investment vehicle, as a way to build our wealth and to store cash, not as a way to live off active income. So I freaking love real estate. Like I can talk real estate all day long. I'm all about real estate. Now I just see it as an investment vehicle. It's like, how do I make it make sense to where it's cash flows and we're in a market that appreciates, so that way I can wake up 2 years later and a house I bought for 500,000 that's worth 550,000 and I've cash flowed, $20,000 along the way. I'm like, okay, cool. Like that sounds cool to me, right? And I can actually have somebody else manage it, and they just ask, do you want to raise the rent $50 after every lease comes up? Like, I'm cool with that. Did that answer the question, Katie?
Yep, it's great.
Cool.
Tristan has a ZenMaid specific question. So his question is there any way to have ZenMaid automatically input the service address on the customer invoice? It only shows the billing address whenever I create an invoice, and then I've manually inputted the service address in the service details section. I have no idea, Tristan. This is a great question for the little circle at the bottom of the screen on ZenMaid. Ask them. If you don't get a response from them, shoot me like a Facebook message and I'll ask them, see if there's a way to do that. I don't know.
Are they inside the Facebook group?
Tristan, if you're not in the Facebook group, get in the Facebook group and ask this question there. Somebody else might know it.
Yeah, I'm sure. Wow, I just lost my chat here. I'm gonna post it. There it is. So I just posted the link to the Facebook group. Go ahead and get in there if you're not in there already, and then ask that question. And there's lots of ZenMaid experts in there who will be able to either ask that question or point you in that direction.
Michael Baker has a great question.
What's up, Mike?
How do we find those initial cleaners when starting out?
What do you think, Katie?
So this is a great question. I'm literally doing my ZenMaid Summit speech exactly on this. But I'll give you the Cliff Notes version. So when we started, we hired for experience first, people who had cleaning experience. I thought I just wanted the easy way out, honestly. I didn't know how to clean, so I was like, these people will know how to clean, and we'll figure it out from there. So we hired experienced cleaners from day one. Unfortunately, those experienced cleaners did not share the same values as I did or what the company needed to honor. So it ended up biting me in the ass. Sam was actually with us in Utah at a Chris Crone event, and we had 6 employees walk out on us who were actually supposed to be at this event with us and quit. So from Friday to Monday, I was down 6 cleaners, and 2 of my staff members were actually with us. So we kept the golden 2 and we rebuilt. The second time we built on a culture first basis. So finding people who shared similar values, finding people who take ownership over their errors. Cleaners are humans, like they're going to miss stuff. You're going to get client complaints. I'm not worried about the actual complaint. I'm worried about how you actually react to the complaint. Are you looking to grow? Are you looking to learn something? Are you looking to have better ammo for the next clean? Or are you defending what you did in that clean and saying you're perfect and you're not willing to do anything different or better? So I think combine in phase 1, I would actually probably combine those 2. I would still look for somebody with experience. If you don't have experience or you're not in the field learning cleaning, I would definitely look for somebody with experience, but who also and primarily shares core values, like core value first, experience second.
Yeah. I think a second piece of that is having the correct expectation that when you hire your first couple cleaners, like they're going to suck, because you suck. You suck at leading. You suck at SOPs, at systems, at teaching, at coaching, because you don't have clarity. It's actually very similar to what we talked about with our marriage. Like when they don't understand clarity on exactly what to do, then they get frustrated, and you get frustrated at them. And so the better you are at communicating what they need to do, the higher likelihood that they will do it. And so just having a proper expectation that the first couple of people you hire, like, they will not work out. And it's not because of them, it's because of you. And just accepting that and just growing from each one and just like learn from every single person and just like be grateful for every moment they give you, whether it's a day, whether it's a week, whether it's a year. Choose gratitude over an expectation that people should just come, batteries included. Right. And then I think Katie's strategy is on point, is you're looking for somebody who's willing to grow with you and you're willing to grow with as well. Right. It's like being vulnerable and like, hey, like you're the first person I hired, just so you know. So like we're gonna be learning this together, and like not like having enough confidence to ask for help.
Yeah.
Having enough confidence to ask for help.
It's great. The moment that you like blame somebody else for your shortcomings is the moment that you miss out on an opportunity to learn something. So when those 6 girls walked out, I was like, how could they do this to our clients? Like, I wanted to blame them so bad and make it their problem, but I did not want to rob myself of an opportunity to learn something. It's great. All right, Nick White.
Yeah.
Nick White's in the house. He's looking sharp today.
Dude, he's jacked too.
I know. How tall are you, Nick?
8 feet.
Yeah, you look tall.
How am I? Oh, dang, guys. Y'all are so nice. 5'9", 5'10".
Oh, wow. I'm
Yeah.
tall. I'm as tall as you. It's great.
Okay, sweet, cool.
You're just bulky. You're just strong. Like that shirt's trying to hold you back, man. I can.
How tall are you guys?
I'm 5'10".
What about Logan?
4'10". I'm just barely still in the 4s.
No, funny story. I asked him how tall he was when we met, and he said a foot. No, or I asked him what his shoe size was, I think, and he said a foot. And I was like, obviously your shoe size is a foot, you clown. What is it? It was 12 inches or 12 or something. I was like, you clown.
You know what they say about big shoes, foot long shoes.
Okay, let's go to Nick's window cleaning business. Window cleaning is very seasonal. Can be pressure washing windows in the winter time. So would it be better for him to have his window cleaning business offer home cleaning, or start a completely different business that offers home cleaning? He's confused because of Google and people looking him up. Which way would be better?
Yeah. So me and Nick had this conversation. So Katie, let's hear your perspective on it.
What's the name of your window cleaning business?
Excel Home Services.
Yeah, I would say same business, different service.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If it was like Nick's window cleaning, then maybe, yeah, at least maybe start a DBA under that same LLC, but I would 100% just offer cleaning. I think those are great paired services anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think the advice I think the question was different than we talked about. I think, yes, it stays under the umbrella. Everything goes into the same bank account, everything on the marketing, like you just keep things as simple as possible. And just a little context for everybody who's listening is that Nick lives in Idaho and we live in Montana. And so anybody who lives in the South, there's this thing called snow that you may have never seen before, but it sometimes prevents or stops, or even halts certain services. Like lawn care, like there's no lawn care from October all the way till May, right? Window washing, Nick, what is your season for window washing?
Yo, it started in May this year. It was horrible.
Yeah.
May to October.
It's May to October, right? And so what a lot of companies do in areas where it snows is they have different gigs, right? So they'll do snow plowing, for example, is an easy one that most people do, because if you can't cut grass, well, you can do snow. And another one that people do is they hang Christmas lights, right? And so that's what what Nick and I talked about a little bit. And instead of doing Christmas lights or doing any sort of snow services, use residential cleaning as your side hustle. Do that for the September to May season and use it as an opportunity to potentially turn it into your main hustle, right? So use that as the core, and then the window washing can potentially be the side hustle, right? Depending, again, like I have no experience in running a window cleaning business, so I'm not exactly sure how much carryover there is. If you can use the same technicians, but you can probably use the same office staff. You can use the same salesperson potentially, right? CRMs, again, like these are things you have to figure out yourself. But to me, the reason why I like the cleaning business so much is because of the recurring model, because of the consistency. And so I would never, that's why I would never probably choose a seasonal type business, because I don't like the inconsistencies. Again, that's just from my, like what I seek in business is consistency. So I would eventually try to make something, the consistent thing, the main thing.
And then just piggybacking on that as a question too. So, like for Google purposes, right? Like people look up Excel home services, and I use the booking funnel that you taught us, like for my window cleaning business. So if I have like, I pair two services together, like how should the funnel look like, type thing?
Yeah. So
Should
you,
like offer both services like on the same page or whatever, and then you can just, you know, choose whatever you want.
are you here for window washing or here for cleaning services? And they click the button and it takes them to where they need to go.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah. Super simple. It's awesome. Yeah. Again, Nick's one of those hyper executors, those implementers, those winners. Like he got into the masterclass, and again, doesn't even have a residential cleaning business, and like he posts in there all the time. So thank you, Nick, for being active in there, but also like crushing it and doing cool things, inspiring other people. It's awesome to see.
Yeah, love implementation. All right, we got a sales question, Logan.
Winners
Jose is
always win.
wondering,
Jose's a stud too. What's up, Jose?
when you are speaking with, he calls it a red personality client, and they just want you to give them a price, he usually tells them, in order to help you best, I need to ask a few questions. How do you handle that when they just keep trying to rush you and pry the price out?
Yeah. Is Jose, are you on here, brother? He's still on here? There he is. Jose, I see you, but I can't hear you. Your lips are moving, but there's no audio, my friend. No.
Still can't hear you.
Jose, get your audio to work. I'm gonna answer this question. Get your audio working. We'll come back to you.
Cool. Put me on the spot. All right, Amy Carter, do you have suggestions for a marketing company who specializes in cleaning companies? Renee Krause actually messaged. Thank you, Renee. If you've never done any, you should do Logan's Way first before you hire a person.
Yeah.
Logan, what is your way?
Very same concept that I talked about with the VAs, is that at least understand what it takes in order for you to do the marketing yourself. And if you understand it, then at least at that point, then when you hire somebody, you're better equipped to be able to speak the language and not get taken advantage of, and be able to contribute to that relationship, right? Because when you come in with no understanding of what someone's supposed to do for marketing, you're not able to actually help that person to be able to help you, right? And so I think a lot of people use it as a crutch. And while you can do it as a short-term thing, I think it can solve a band-aid, but the long term, like if you don't understand how to generate leads into your business, like you're not going to sleep well at night. Like the reason that I feel very confident is I know how to generate leads. Like, and it doesn't matter what business it is, because marketing is marketing. Marketing always works. So use the masterclass as an opportunity for you to like be able to see what a marketing funnel looks like, be able to try to understand it, and then yeah, by all means you can try it, you can implement it, you can do it. And even if you're like, okay, it's not my lane, reaching out to a marketing company is great. I think you're inside the Facebook group, so Jessica and Lucas, they're hyper implementers inside the group. They have a company that they use that does really well. Again, I've never used them, so, but they can speak from their experience. So that's who I would reach out to, is Jessica Lucas. So Amy Carter, if you're not inside the Facebook group, that was from Amy Carter, right, Katie?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So Amy, get into the Facebook group, get into the masterclass, and ask that question, and then connect with Jessica Lucas. So Jessica Lucas, I see you guys around here. You can connect with them, maybe on Facebook or phone, however you guys want to connect. Again, like use this as an opportunity to connect with people that are in the industry. So networking, very, very powerful, very cool thing.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna hit the nail on the head, or whatever you call it. It's just important for you to have a base understanding. Even if you hire somebody, you need to understand what you're looking for and how to actually know that they're performing and doing their job.
If you're going to play the game of business forever, which is my intention, I don't know if that's your intention, but my intention is to just play the game of business forever, right? Just like I plan on being married forever. I plan on living. I mean, I'm gonna live for as long as I live for, I guess. Like, is it worth it for me to spend an hour to try to learn a skill set that will serve me for the rest of my life? To me, that makes sense. Is it worth it for me to spend a day to learn a skill set that I'll use for the rest of my life? That makes sense to me. Is it, am I willing to spend a week doing something that I'll use for the rest of my life? A month? So that's like a time standpoint, right? Now money, like, am I willing to spend $1,000? Yeah. 10,000? Yeah, 100,000, right? So like it just keeps going up and up. So basically you're just like you try and turn this into a logical reason why you want to learn something. Right? And ultimately, like I think most of us, we actually get fulfillment on learning something. Like I've never learned something, it was like, dang, really wish I didn't learn that. You know? So you can always it's always has perspective too. And like, yes, we have 1,000 things going on. We always have like all these things, but like really like what's important? Like, is in marketing specifically, marketing, sales, and fulfillment are like the three stools of all businesses, no matter what you're in. So having at least a basic understanding of those things will give you a foundation to be successful from. And when you are able to have excellence in any one of those things, you're able to have an excellent business. If you're able to be excellent in all three of those things, that's how you're able to like move really, really fast. So I truly push people to learn the skill rather than just taking the and I don't want to call it easy way, because I don't think it's the easy way, but it's maybe just right now is not the time for you to learn that, but eventually have a path for you to be able to learn that skill set because it will serve you.
Love it. Let's see if Jose's audio is working now.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Jose's a stud. Jose came out to Arizona. We had some fun. We ate Brazilian steakhouse. We did it right.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Loved it.
All right. So the question was about a red client. So give me an example. Is this like a specific example that you just had? Is this like a common thing?
Yeah. So, I live in New York
Jose's
City.
in New
so
York. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I've done a lot of cold calls in, let's say, in New Jersey and a couple other states. So it's normal here in New York City, and you get a couple of them. You come across others that are okay, but you get red often.
Yeah. So this comes like to like sales tactics, right? And it's always about trying to control the frame. And so the last time I had a conversation with someone on the East Coast, this is why this brings it up, but I was trying to close a property in Massachusetts, and I was dealing with a lawyer, right? So I'm getting like the alpha and a female lawyer. And she was trying to talk over to me. I was just like, hey, I had to continue to interrupt her. Hey, listen, stop. Like literally like, hey, and then say what you got to say, right? So it is not rude. It's just holding the frame. It's just knowing. It's like, this is the way to think about it, Jose, is like, think about you talking to somebody who's like really important in your life 10 years ago and saying, you know what? This thing called Bitcoin, like if you just put like $1,000 in there, like I promise you, like it'll be worth something, right? I promise you, right? And so like it's with that type of conviction that you're just like, hey, listen. I know that you just want the price. Listen, I know you want the price. Listen, I got to ask you some questions. Okay. I want to be able to serve you. I want to be able to help you, but I can't serve you. I can't help you if I don't get some questions from you. So is that fair? Is it fair for me to want to help you? Can I help you? They're like, yeah. Okay, cool. Okay. So I want to help you by asking this question. I'm going to ask you, how big is your home? Okay, cool. And so then like keep the pace going, right? But it's all about controlling. It's all about controlling the frame. Control the frame. Like that's why sales, again, going back to the skill of sales, like it works in a sales situation. It works in all situations, but someone who's as you call it, red, you just gotta take the conversation back, right? And do it not in an aggressive way, but just like in a convicted way to know that you know what's best for this person. They don't like they're trying their best, but they don't know what's best, right?
Absolutely. And thank you for this masterclass, because even though I went through all the masterclass and I went over there in Phoenix, you know, all these questions are like refreshers, right?
Yeah.
And like what you was talking later about the answer about the marketing and the Facebook, you know, it makes sense, you know, because people are seeing me on Facebook, and when they fill up their information on the funnel, I get their email, and now I can do some email marketing to them, and it's like they see you all over the place.
Yeah, always, man.
And follow up.
It's the game, man. It's the game, right? It's the game. And so that's why there's a challenge in getting it started, because your list of follow up is small. But as you're in business longer, that list gets bigger and bigger. And for example, last week, or was it 2 weeks ago, that we actually had some holes on the schedule, and we're like, shit, what do we do? And I think it was Katie had the great idea. She's like, why don't we reach out to our old prospects and tell them the truth? We actually have some holes in the schedule, and we're willing to give you a discount to fill the schedule this week. And we did it. And what happened?
Conversions.
Yeah, conversions, right? People are like, yes, that sounds like a good reason. I will take that, right? But that was built over years of having a list, right? Having leads. And so in the beginning, like it takes time to build that list. That's why you got to, again, it just takes a little bit more work. It takes a little more sweat equity. You got to do more outreaches. You got to get more creative. Try to get as much free lead gen as you possibly can in the beginning, and then eventually that marketing starts to compound. Because here's the coolest part, guys. Again, for anyone who is in the cleaning business or any sort of like service business that is a done for you service, is that you have a very desirable business. Like the value proposition that you're giving somebody is extremely high. That the only cost to them is literally the money coming out of their wallet. Like they don't have to do anything, they don't have to prep anything, they don't have to change anything, and they get an outcome that is very rewarding. It's very, very high proposition, right? So amazing. Jose,
thank you very much, man.
You're a sub, my friend.
Thank you.
Give me that update too.
And thank you, Katie. Yeah, I will.
Okay, brother.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, we actually only have one other question on here, so
amazing. Cool, because I gotta go at 3:30. I gotta get my hair did.
Perfect.
Ooh. You guys think I should shave it? Get it? Do some steps in the side. I should do. Maybe just get a cut normal, or just wear a hat all the time.
Sam says grow it out.
Katie's seen that before.
Sam, we got to go dig up some old pictures of Logan.
If you guys want to see old Logan videos,
what do you want done exactly?
Gotta mute somebody.
Gotcha.
If you guys want to see old Logan videos, go to my YouTube. I think 10 years ago, I was posting fitness stuff. I had long hair. I was bigger. I was probably big. I was probably 230, 240 pounds. I was powerlifting. Those were my powerlifting days. So you can see some old videos of me lifting heavy things with long hair, scraggly beard. I was like, you guys will like have more faith in Katie ever. She's like, what did she see in me back then? I have no idea, but she saw something. So funny. Okay. Anyway, Katie, let's go before I got to go here.
All right. With your guys' current org chart, what are the daily SOPs of a general manager, sales manager, and customer service manager?
Amazing.
This is great.
That's
I'll take this one away.
Yeah.
Customer service manager is essentially responsible for maintaining our customer service, making sure that all leads are responded to, that all inquiries are responded to, following up with every day after a clean is completed, we have our VAs or the customer service department message the cleaner or the clients and ask them what their favorite part of their clean was from the day prior. Their job is to ensure that all of this is completed. All of the duties in the customer service department are completed on a daily basis. And if they're not, then it comes back on that manager's plate. She doesn't necessarily have to be the one to complete it, but she needs to be the one to delegate it and make sure that it is getting completed on a daily basis. Our customer service manager is actually a virtual assistant. So we have a lead virtual assistant who's Jaya, and she manages the schedule and delegates as much as she can. The sales manager's responsibility is to make sure that the cleaners have a full schedule. So if the schedule is not full, they need to be hustling leads, getting creative about re-engaging leads, and ensuring that we are doing everything in our power to make sure that the cleaner schedule is full. So the first time ever last week, we ran into a problem where we actually had more cleaners than we did cleans available. It's always been vice versa. We've never had an issue filling techs' schedules. And we had 5 techs quit last week because their schedules weren't full. Because the expectation on the front end that we communicated was, hey, we will fill your schedule. We will make everything groovy from day one. We got this. Well, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5 went and they didn't have cleans on their schedule. So I had to come back and re-communicate expectations, take ownership over the situation, say, holy crap, we really messed up. I sincerely apologize. We've never done this before. We're working in the background, doing everything we can to get your schedule full. However, in the meantime, if you need to go do something to support yourself that's different than this, like by all means, please go do that. And we ended up having 5 people walk out. But our sales manager is ultimately responsible to make sure that the new techs cleaning schedules are getting filled at a decent rate. And then closing percentages and tracking data are definitely just as important.
I think to piggyback on that is like, but how many new cleaners like started not this week, because this week is weird, the holiday, but how many cleaners are starting next week?
3. Yeah. We had 9 techs come on in the matter of 2 weeks. So to lose 5 it was good. They weeded themselves out.
You know, which it goes back to the idea of just expectation that we just understand this, like our expectation is like, that's just part of the game. It's just part of the game to bring cleaners in, cleaners to go. And so we treat it very much like a sports team of like, so we have our top tier people who are consistent, they always show up, they get the cleans, and then we're just constantly trying to bring in the bottom. We're basically trying to raise our standard of like, if this is mediocre, we're trying to make our mediocre up to here, right? And but the bottom always churns out. So yeah, just again, it's just part of the condition of doing business. And when you're able to come out from a logical point of view and just numbers point of view, all of a sudden, just like I had 5 cleaners walk out like that. We talk about the story when it happened a couple years ago. It was emotional, right? We had 4 cleaners walk out. It was an emotional thing. Then we had 5 cleaners walk out last week. And just like, okay, it's okay, right? Because now our expectation is different.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to empowering your staff and not saving them. The reason that all 6 of those people walked out was because I wasn't there to save them. I was in Utah at an event and I could not save each and every one of them. And historically, I had been there to save them. So they became entitled and they thought that it was the new expectation that I save them.
They were bred entitlement.
Yes, they were very much bred entitlement.
Yeah.
And then my job is to just honestly do call reviews for the sales team, interview call reviews for our recruiting team, and making sure that everything is continuing to oil the machine, if that makes sense. Like I'll try to bring in ideas, but even when I bring in ideas, Logan is phenomenal at this. I don't know if you guys ever pick up on this, but he'll ask you questions in anticipation of you creating the idea that he had in his mind first, but he will make it your idea, which is amazing. So they are empowered to actually act on this idea because they thought of it. And they get excited about it. And they're like, hell yeah, let's do this like re-engaging leads thing. This sounds like a great idea. Let's fill the schedule. And that's their idea. And they take it and run. It's great. Logan is phenomenal with that. I'm working on it. Yeah, and that's pretty much what I do. So
don't tell them
we
the secrets. That's actually the secret, Katie. That's the one that Brian Rice is looking for. That's the secret.
make it everybody else's idea. I love it. All right. Well, Logan needs to go get his hair cut. I am absolutely willing to stay on here and answer 2 more questions.
Are you guys going to ask some questions? Ask Katie some questions.
If
Like,
you
for real.
guys have questions. Love you, Sam. Goodbye. Go get your hair done too, maybe.
Sam, appreciate you. Appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for hopping on here. Yes, I'm gonna go get my hair did. Like, ask Katie some questions. You guys are like, Katie doesn't do this very often. She's not on the social media as much as I am. She's actually running the businesses. God forbid someone actually has to run the business. I get to hang out with you guys, having fun. We get to chill. So yeah, so again, if you guys haven't gotten into the Facebook group, go in there, get into the masterclass, get inside there, connect with me on Instagram. If you guys are on Threads as well. I just got on Threads. Obviously, everyone's probably heard about. If you haven't heard about Threads, you will. It's blown up. I was never a Twitter guy, but Threads is fun. I don't know if it'll last forever, but I posted in the chat on there. If you guys aren't connected with me on Instagram, you can connect with me on there. I'm posting stuff all the time. But I'm gonna get my haircut. And so thank you guys again for being on here. I had a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys had some fun. Hopefully you guys got value from this. If you did, let me know. Again, connect with me on Facebook or Instagram, Threads, wherever you want to be. Give Katie some love as well. Again, like use her for the next 20 minutes or however long you can hold her on to and try to pick her brain. So I appreciate you guys. Katie,
Love it.
hand it off to you.
All right. Catch you later, Logan.
Bye.
All right.